Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here and welcome back to Crossout. I have one question for you. When is a pickup truck not a pickup truck? Well, when it becomes a tank. A lot of you have been requesting this actually. In fact, a fairly significant number of you have been requesting that I try and build a tank. Now, there is a disclaimer for this one. This is not a typical tank. This is going to be a tank-like vehicle, but it's not exactly a tank yet. That one is still being worked on, so stay tuned for that one. But for now, what we're going to try and do is make a fairly sturdy armored vehicle. Now, starting off with a blank canvas here, and I'm thinking, let's go with... Of course, we are going to use the pickup cabin for this. I would use the buggy, but that doesn't give us a lot of hit points, and the truck cabin, unfortunately, is way too heavy for this. So we are going to start off with just a standard frame here. I'm going to try to make this fit the pickup cabin just right. So that looks about right. And let's put these on here. Now, I might be thinking, why don't I just put the square frame side by side? Well, I'm going to show you exactly why. So when we put the pickup cabin, it's going to fit pretty much exactly there. And you can see there's absolutely zero space to the side of it, so we're using up all the possible space. You don't want a vehicle to be unnecessarily big. That is something that I've learned. You don't want it to be too big to be able to be usable. So just going to put the tracks on now and just give you an idea of exactly how big this vehicle is going to be. That is the widest it will be. Yeah, that's not very big at all. Honestly, not a very big machine at all. So, that is... yeah, that's just about as big as it's going to be. So, I've been looking at different shapes and designs. Now, I did like the idea of a bulldozer. So, while I was browsing the faction pages, I happened to come across this. Yes, the buzzsaw. It's a melee weapon that continues to deal damage while in contact. Now, of course, it does have an initial impact, but as I've noticed, the plow and in fact, the hatchet blade seem to deal more damage on impact. This, however, deals damage over time, which is actually very useful. So, what we're going to do is we're going to build a vehicle that is used to kind of push enemies away and deal damage to them while pinning them. Kind of like a brawler, kind of like a wrestler even. So that is the sort of vehicle we're going for. So that is approximately where the vehicle is going to be. Or rather, where the weapon is going to be. But we need a little bit more speed on this. So I'm just going to show you with a test drive. This on its own is not a very fast vehicle. And in fact, it does take some time to accelerate. And the armored tracks do actually limit your top speed a lot. They do allow you to pivot, which is a very useful feature. It is very good at turning, but it's not very fast. So we need to be able to get in close and be very, very careful about the terrain. So that's kind of what we're going for here. Alright, so let's finish this up. Now, I do have an engine. Unfortunately, it has no durability left on it. It's at 0, that's why it's appearing in red there, but it still imparts its abilities. It's just going to get destroyed very quickly, and it does actually penalize us when we gain reputation, so we're going to actually get less, which is not ideal, but, you know, needs must at the moment. So that's what we kind of have to deal with right now. I'm going to put a radiator on there, I think. That seems like a good idea. Or we might wait on that one, actually, for now. So I haven't decided what other weapons we're going to put on this. Of course, we do need some form of ranged weapon on there. So, for now, it's going to look a little bit like that. That's the overall shape of it, anyway. And you can see just how much difference this engine makes. You can see it's a lot more sprightly now. Its turning rate is still not the best, but it definitely accelerates a lot better, so there we go. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going for. Right, let's get a little bit more standoff distance on the front here. So I think I'm going with the grill on the front there, because I want to put a plow on this. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to be able to push enemies as well. That's something I think we're going to need to do. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And let's put the buzzsaw on there. So you can see that sort of distance there. It doesn't allow it to have proper contact. So we're going to just raise it off a little bit more. Just using the grills to kind of keep the weight down for now. I think that's going to be okay. But that does get in the way with the plow, so let's just move that out of the way. Yeah, so we're going to have to move this, I think. Let's drop that down to about there. So I think that will allow us to put the plow really far down. Yeah, there we go. So it's very close to the ground there. Definitely. In fact, that standoff might actually be too much now. So yeah, a little bit of trial and error. That does look like it's cutting into the grill a little bit, which is... I hope that's not a problem. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So we're going to remove that and extend this out a little bit more. In fact, we could put this on top. So we do need a little bit of armor protection from the front, I think. Yeah, that does look quite nice. But I do want this to protrude out from the tracks a little bit more, so I'm just going to... Yeah, I'm going to put the standoff distance back on that we had there. Yeah, that's looking a lot better now. And that will allow us to put this on here like a handy splash guard. Just in case, you know, more than just an enemy vehicle gets caught in there. Maybe the driver gets caught in there. That will help to catch whatever comes flying out of the blade. And of course we're going to add our hatchet blades on the front, because that will give us a little bit more ramming damage. This is primarily so that, because of the way physics kind of works in this game, if you have a pointed front like this, just a little bit of explanation here. So it's actually pointed at the front. It extends, well, rather extends past the plow there. So when it hits, it'll force the vehicle to the left or right slightly. That's just the way physics work. So with doing that, we might actually get a little bit more damage off of these blades if they're positioned like that. But if we have it straight on, which I think we can't actually do here, I don't think it's going to let us do that. But if we extend that out a little bit, then they're all going to impact at the same time, which is, yeah, not exactly what you want at all. See if we can armor this up a little bit more, I think. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to let us do that. So that's the basic weaponry there. And now we're going to deal with the back. So, of course, this engine is very vulnerable right here. And we're going to use a little bit of structuring to kind of get around that. So, again, grills, these are not protection. These are just to fill in space so that we can connect other things to them. And I think we're going to go with one of these. Yeah, that works. And then we can put the bumper back on there. Yeah, that's looking all right, actually. We've put a fence piece over the top. So, even though that's flat, that will probably protect it a little bit. And we can even put a couple of tin caps on the sides here, just to kind of give it a little bit more protection. Especially for the cabin as well. That's the wrong button. I meant to press control. There we go. So, a little bit more protection for the cabin there. And now we're going to armor up to the sides to protect the cabin from any side impacts there. I think what we can do is put... We don't have enough long pipe shields, but what we can use are maybe fenders, because these do have a fair amount of hit points. To just kind of armor up a little bit. I think I could shift that along just a little bit more. Kind of protect the sides a little bit. And yeah, that's looking quite alright, actually. Yeah, definitely liking the look of that. And then what we can do is put some van sides on them. And this will give it even more standoff there. Just to kind of protect the sides a little bit. I think I might stick that out just a little bit more, actually. Yeah, that works. I'm going to shift all of these along. Yeah, that works very nicely. And we have these square covers. Now, these are really nice because they have physics on them, so they do flap about a little bit when you're moving, so they swing a little bit from the left to right. And that's quite nice. But they do also have an alright amount of hit points. It's mainly just for show, but it also does help to kind of protect everything that's on this side. I could put these all the way down, and that will help with protecting against impacts from the side, and of course certain shots as well, because these Vandals do have a decent amount of hit points as well, so they can absorb those hits. And I think I do want to protect it against ramming from the back, so I'm going to put these planks on there. They're not the strongest of things, but they're just there to kind of allow something to hit instead of hitting the track. Right, so we do need to protect the track at the front as well, and I don't really see a way of easily doing that. We could put more fenders on the front, but that will definitely overextend past the weapons, you see, so it is going to be very tricky to protect the tracks. So they are definitely going to take a lot of hits. But thankfully, these have 404 hit points. So anything barring a cannon hit from the front is probably going to be alright, I think. Unfortunately, we can't really protect the buzzsaw that much, and it only has 68 hit points compared to a lot of these melee weapons. In fact, even the hatchet blades have a lot more hit points than these do. So yeah, these are fairly vulnerable as far as melee weapons go, so we will need a backup weapon. Of course, what I would like to see is maybe a kind of retractor or pivoting gear, something like that. And hopefully that will allow us to retract these weapons and protect them when they're not being used, because it is very badly exposed like that, which is a bit unfortunate. But we're going to have to make do. Right, so now that we've done that, I've just realized I haven't put a fuel can on here, but I think we'll be alright without one for this. It is possible to put one on here, it's very tricky. So I'm going to finish this up and jump cut to the finished product, really. Welcome everybody to the Eviscerator Mark 1. And this is effectively what happens if you turn a pickup truck into a tank. It's nicely chromed out for that extra flare, I guess. Or maybe glare, actually, if you happen to point it the correct way towards the enemy. So, brief rundown of what I've done with it. I've added a shotgun there on the hood, and you can see there's a machine gun up there. Now, I could have gone with 2 shotguns, but the problem with that is, one being the energy on the pickup is not the best, and the other one being that, well, the shotgun allows us to do close range, and it only gives us 2 shots before it overheats, whereas the machine gun will allow us to do constant damage, which I think is going to be more beneficial to us in the long run, and it gives us a lot more range as well. So let's take this out and see what it can do. Alright, so one of the best things about the test drive mode is it allows you to test out your weapons against your own vehicle. And that actually does allow you to identify weak spots in a much clearer way. So now we're going to test out the weapons. So, of course, a couple of shotgun blasts will remove those tin caps, but they have left the armored tracks intact. A single shot will remove those van doors, but again, it takes a little bit longer for the tracks to start taking damage. So how will they hold up against our rotating buzzsaw there at the front. So you can see it's just... Whoa! Okay, that went through it pretty quickly. And we're still able to push them around. It is really, really chewing through it. Wow. So, I mean, with a vehicle that has 860 hit points, you're probably not expecting it to hold up against something like that. But I was honestly expecting it to last a little bit longer than that, which is kind of scary. But that is what the buzzsaw can do. It does 38 damage per tick against armored pieces, which is fairly significant when you consider that that's faster than the autocannon can do against these things. So, yeah, something to bear in mind there. Let's take this out against other players and see if we can actually make it last. Alrighty then, so our silver pickup tank is ready to take the fight to them. Now, if you're hearing a slight crashing noise, it's because the plow is actually striking the ground. I don't know if you can actually see it. When we come down from slopes, it is actually hitting the ground. So, that is what that sound actually is. Now, that plow is kind of vulnerable because it is attached by a single grill there, which I could probably improve upon, actually, by resurfacing the whole thing even more. So, it's something I might actually try doing. Alright, we can see a bunch of enemies at range there, but this is not the situation we want to be in. We want to be up close and personal, but the problem with melee vehicles is really just knowing when to actually engage. Because when you go out there, you're out there on your own. Oh, that's a cannon. Yeah, we've lost a track already. A double cannon. Well, that explains a lot. Alright, and off we go. So, yeah, the last match didn't go so well. And, I think we need to really kind of step it up with this one. Alright, here we go. Close range. Try to get in there. We've got him pinned. The saw's not active. We've got no guns. Well, shit. Okay, one last go at this and then we'll call it a day. And really, it's actually been a fairly good vehicle. If you can get up close with someone, you really can do it, and you can survive the punishment. You're kind of like, you have to be a crab, essentially, and just hang on to them for dear life. That's really how you have to play this. Should have called it the crab, actually. Ideally, the armor should be all the way up at the front, but in this case, we have it sort of all rounded so we can really kind of protect ourselves. Look at this, just tearing him up. All his wheels are gone. Absolutely everything gone there. And we've lost actually a fair amount of armor now. We don't have the shotgun anymore, or the machine gun. So, that's a thing. Just gonna try and absolutely rip into him now. And I think we might be about to die. Yeah. So what we really needed there was the shotgun to actually just kind of get the last few hits in. But he managed to take it off very quickly. But we basically incapacitated him, so I consider that a win. But I think this might be worthy of one more try. I think, honestly, we can protect the weapons a little bit more. That might actually be the best thing. That's really all this needs. And maybe a little bit more armor up the front. Because, yeah, they really just do take shots at the tracks. It is a very big target, after all. So we might need a little bit more armor on the front. And don't really know how we're going to do that, though, other than using plows, maybe. Although that might actually be the way to do it. Extending the grill out at the front and kind of putting plows over it might actually help us do that. I am aware that you could actually do this with wheels too. In fact, that might be a more mobile melee vehicle. It just won't be as survivable because wheels come off very, very easily. So if you are planning to try that, you will need to be a lot more evasive than I am being right now. Alright, we're going to have a go at this bot over here. He's isolated. Can't quite catch him, though. So this is a situation where maybe some form of speed boost might be in order. But this is as fast as this cabin will go. The buggy actually does this fairly well too, but we can't put as much armor on it because it just doesn't have the weight allowance. Oh, he's stuck in a corner now. And he's finished. We didn't actually get to use the buzzsaw on him. Let's give this guy a little nudge to get going. Go on, get back in there. And we are going to win this one by base capture. So, haven't really got to show off what this really can do yet. Just a bit of a shame. Okay, one last go at this. One last go. And let's try to make this a good one. So, a lot of open terrain here. I do kind of want to wait for the team a little bit. I don't want to rush in anywhere on my own, because if we get pinned, then we're kind of a little bit screwed. So, I'm going to stick with the team a little bit more. And see if we do any better. That is an enemy directly behind me now. So, just going to duck behind this rock and see if he comes out. Yes! He's come out. And, we're going to have him. Alright, shaved off a couple of his wheels there. Give him a couple of shots from the shotgun. Oh, there's the whole team! Oh, this is not good. Right. I'm going to have you. I'm going to have you. Oh. Alright, but that's all the time we have for today, unfortunately. But hopefully that gives you an idea of what this is fully capable of. Of course, with a little bit more time to perfect the design, I think we might actually come up with something that could be even more effective than this. But we've already seen what the buzzsaw can do. So, I'm going to be trying to fit it into other designs where I see it might be appropriate. And I think that's something to look forward to. But for now, that is the Eviscerator, as I've decided to call it. It's a pickup truck that thinks it's a tank and plays like a crab. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment down below if you have tried a similar design. And let me know how you got on with that one. If you have any tips on how to improve this one, feel free to leave it in the comments down below as well. And if there is a vehicle you would like to see me try and create, don't forget to leave that down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. My name is Panzer, and I'll see you next time.